Hi, my beautiful souls. Welcome back to Twin Flames Defined. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about some fallacies created around some of the twin flame, like how the twin flame journey works, right? There's some misunderstandings about how the twin flame journey works, of course, right? Because it's so unique, it's so otherworldly, and because it's just, like I said, unique, right? Like most other people don't ever have an experience like this. The people that aren't twin flames aren't going to understand it either. And so when we have something that's so unique, right, there's going to be a lot of misinterpretation about it. And so I thought I would clear up a misinterpretation that I even fell into about how your soul, right, if it's your true twin flame, the belief and the thought is that if it's your true twin flame, that they cannot hurt you, they cannot harm you, right? And I fell into that fallacy of that belief as well, right? And so let me kind of define and clear up and give like more clarity to what that actually is referring to, and the truth of that statement, right? So there is truth to that, but let's uncover it and let me shine light on what it really means. So what that is trying to say when they say that like your twin flame can't harm you, right? Because it's true, like the soul is not going to self-mutilate, right? That doesn't mean that you can't get hurt by your twin flame. It doesn't mean that your twin flame can't be toxic, abusive, unhealthy, right? Your twin flame most certainly can be all of those things. And the reason why is because we have free will on our planet, okay? And when you have free will on this planet, you can do whatever you want, right? No matter if it's a positive or a negative thing, right? You can do what you will, and so can your twin flame. And so I remember I was living in like that fallacy of like taking that thought too far of like, because it's my twin flame, that I'm not that my twin flame, since he's my true twin flame, he's not able to hurt and harm me. But the truth of what that is trying to say is that the soul won't ever like self-harm, and that the reason or the way that it does that is through keeping you guys in separation, right? If you guys aren't healthy enough to be together, it'll keep you in separation and keep you apart from one another, so that that is of your own choosing to harm one another, but that the soul is not going to permit it. And so that's the difference, right? That's the difference in all of this, is that not to say that they can't harm you, and not to say that you're not going to get harmed, right? That's what I took it as when I was a new twin flame, like early on in my journey, right? I was like, oh, it's my twin flame, so my twin flame isn't going to harm me. But then I woke up later on the journey and my twin flame did harm me, and my twin flame did do toxic, abusive things to me, and did some really awful things, right? And in our world and in our society, we only like to see abuse in the most dramatic of ways, right? But really what abuse is, right, is dysfunction and unhealth and disrespect and dishonor, right? And chronic use of those behaviors towards another, right? And when it becomes chronic and there's like a loop, it becomes abusive and unhealthy, right? And so that's where on the twin flame journey, twin flames especially, but all humans, right? All souls that come to earth need to understand is that like when someone outside of you, and in this example, it's our twin flame, right? But when someone outside of you is doing things that are chronically unhealthy and harmful and disrespectful, dishonoring, abandonment is a form of abuse, okay? And if they're abandoning you, like there's a difference between like someone saying like, this is not for me and I'm moving on, and giving clear communication about that and then doing that. or, you know, even with your actions, clear communication with your actions on that. But it's different when someone keeps dabbling in your energy with no, and leading you on with no intention and honor to respect you, right? And to give you their energy back, right? When they take and don't, it's not a mutual give and take, right? They take, but you don't receive. That's an abusive dynamic. And most people don't understand health to the level that we should in our society. So a lot of people, when they hear those terms, when they hear the word abuse, they get like, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't hit nobody, right? We weren't even in communication. How did I abuse that person, right? There's lots of ways to abuse people when you're not in physical communication, right? And we all know that there is, on the twin flame journey, that it's not just the physical that we're dealing with, right? We're dealing with the spiritual as well. So a lot of the times what ends up happening is, since the masculines and the feminines are both not healthy, right? The feminines are usually striving to seek comfort and seek assurance and seek reliance on things outside of her, right? And I say her, but you know that it's not always a she, right? But the feminine is always doing that. And then the masculine is trying to build up walls outside of themselves to protect the inside, right? And both of those like habits and those ways of dealing with the fact that they just need to have healthy love, to give and receive healthy love, right? In their connections in this lifetime. Those are both unhealthy ways to go about it, right? But that's the way of our society. That's the way of the feminine the way of the feminine in our society, and the way of the masculine in our society. And so it's no wonder that the twin flames come down and choose to heal that in that way, right? Like they choose to be a part of the collective in that big way, and help clear and clean it, right? And so if you're a twin flame, right, no matter if you're the masculine side or the feminine side, if you're a twin flame and you're wondering, like, because you know that question comes up so much, like, is this really my twin flame? Like, is this really my twin flame? And if, like, that's the thing about it, is obviously if you have that question, right, definitely be seeking that answer with your soul and your higher self and the divine of whatever you believe the divine is, whether you believe in it being called source, Buddha, you know, God, universe, whatever you want to call that. That is all of that energy should be who you direct, like your soul, and that energy should be who you direct that question to. But how, even if you get your answer, right, like I got mine, it still comes up, and it's still a thing for us to work through, no matter how much you know. Like, I know without a shadow of a doubt who my twin flame is. I know a shadow of a doubt I'm a twin flame. I know for a shadow of a doubt that, like, my life purpose and my life mission on this planet is to raise the vibration of the planet to a higher state of frequency and love, and to do that through being of love and light in not only myself, right, but in every single connection that I have on this planet, and every connection, whether it be like a stranger that I meet at a restaurant that's my server and I am only in their life for 35 minutes, right? You, in 35 minutes, you can shine a lot of love that maybe other people in this world have never ever experienced before. And that seems to be the case with me, right? And so, okay, so I kind of went down a rabbit hole, but what I was trying to get at, and like the big picture of this whole, like, is your, like, you know, like that question repeating itself, like, is this really my twin flame? And it's going to come up a lot with this whole questioning ourselves with, can my twin flame really harm me? And is that really my twin flame if they harm me, right? And so that's what I want to shine light on, is that fallacy that we believe that it's not our twin flame if they can harm me. Every twin flame that I've worked with, right, there's there's been plenty of ways that their twin flames have harmed them. Their masculines have harmed them, and they are in fact true twin flames. Mine, for 120% sure, right? My twin flame is my twin flame, and yeah, and I found out within the last like 6 months that my twin flame has done some really, really, really horrible things to me. Things that I never expected my own soul, like an extension of my own soul, to be able to do to me, right? And even with knowing without a doubt that that's my twin flame, then it became this thing where it's like, how could my soul, like, I understand that we come down here and we get dirty, right? And energy and in the circumstances and the environments that we're in. But how could my soul, I just was like, could not believe that my soul was choosing to be that way and choosing to act that way. And out of all people on this planet, that they, like, I can see them, like, I can see you harming other souls, right? Haphazardly. But I can't believe that my soul did it to its own other half. Like that just blew my mind. Like, and it shook my perception of things, right? And it really made me like step back. That's why I haven't made a video in a really long time, because it really, like, I had to get deep with that divine energy, like that God, source, Buddha, whatever you want to call it, right? I had to like really rely on that to like get me through. Probably, I'd say like it was probably the hardest. I'm trying not to get emotional. It was probably the hardest part of my awakening so far, is to recognize how much like a karmic my twin flame was choosing to be. Like, I was just so disappointed, and so obviously there's a lot of heartache and hurt from that, right? And I am dealing with that, right? We all of us twin flames on our journey, we're all doing the best that we can with what we're given, right? And so and nobody's perfect. And I feel like so of course I can give my masculine grace, and I can give my masculine, I'm working on the forgiveness part right now because I just can't believe, I'm just like so in disbelief that he could do that to me. He could do what he did, and what it says about him, what it says about our soul. And like I said, I don't believe that like twin flames came to like be picture perfect, right? I don't believe that. And I believe that we came to like scrape our knees and like make mistakes and get dirty down here. And we come down in really harsh conditions, right? We do. That to me all makes complete perfect sense. But at the same time, like, what I found out was like, I feel like it goes beyond that. Like to me, I don't know, to me, consciously harming someone, consciously trying to steal and take from someone, which that's what my twin flame did to me, consciously was stealing my energy, just like my karmic has chosen to do, right? And I can see my karmic doing it, because my karmic's not a good person. But I think I lived in this like fallacy that my soul was different, right? That my soul was different, and that that meant like the other half of my soul was different, right? And so then like it broke that paradigm. So like I really just feel like, I don't know, like source is bringing me to like share this with you guys. Then it really brought me to that place where it's like, okay, so the other half of my soul can be really, really shitty, can choose to be a shitty person, which makes sense, right? But I guess that means that I was living in a fallacy, right? I was living in a fallacy that kind of like pretended like your twin flame can't harm you. And that's exactly what I'm trying to get at. And it's so not true. Your twin flame can most certainly harm you. I just saw a bluebird fly by, and you're supposed to make a wish every time you see a bluebird. But in the end, okay, so in the end, I was living in a fallacy in the early stages of my twin flame journey for the first, like, close to 4 years. I was living in the fallacy that my twin flame was different than the rest of the humans on this planet, right? And I want you guys to recognize that that's not true. And although they're going through their own healing and like their own like journey and their own trials and tribulations and like all those things, right? They are capable of doing some really harmful, really awful, really bad things to you. So don't think that that is impossible. Like I did. Like I felt like I fell for something that really wasn't the truth of what the divine was trying to say about the twin flame journey. The divine was trying to tell us and explain the rule of thumb of like, they're not going to self-mutilate. So they're going to keep us in separation while we're at extreme, like, dysfunctional and unhealthy states, so that there's not a large percentage of a chance that we're going to harm each other. There's still a percentage of a chance that we could harm each other, right? And we can allow them to harm. Like, I allowed him to harm me because I handed over myself freely, right? Like, I handed over my heart, essentially. Because I'm that way with people, right? Like, not just my twin flame. I'm that way with like every single person that comes into my life. And now I recognize that I need to have boundaries of who I allow into my life and who I allow into my energy. Because when you love deep like that, and like you allow people to be in your space and in your energy so deeply, they have a lot of power, right? And so you have to be really, 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 really picky, right, with who you allow into that space and who you allow into your energy field, right? And I with open arms, I allowed my twin flame into my energy, right? Even though we weren't physically together on this earthly planet, right? We were together energetically. Like, energetically, we were sending songs to each other all the time. We were having telepathy. We were spiritually, we were always connected together. And I allowed that. I like just opened my heart and opened my arms and gave all the space in the world for my masculine to join into my heart, right? And my masculine led me on to believe like that was what he wanted to, right? But had other intentions consciously in his mind, and wasn't willing to tell me that he had gone in another direction, that he wasn't going in the same direction as me, but was willing to take from me, was willing to continue to siphon my energy and my love, and siphon my attention and my admiration towards him. He was willing to siphon all of that because it felt good, right? And not give that up, even though he wanted to give me up, right? And that is what a karmic does. That is the dirtiness and the dysfunction and the unhealth of the low frequencies. That is not of love and light. That is not what we came here to do as twin flames. And that blew my mind. So yes, they can harm you if they want to, but their free will, they have any direction that they want to go in, and they can't. And like I said, I gave him the power to harm me because I was open and free with my heart and open and free with my love, which that's how true love is, right? Sorry, I just heard like a animal behind me. I was like, it's kind of scary. But anyway, so I gave him the power, but that's the thing, is like, you have to recognize that your twin flame is human. And so if you're going to give them that power, you have to be ready to fall and get hurt really, really bad when and if, like, I'm not saying when, because that might not be the story for you. that might not be your twin flames outcome, but it was for me. And it was really, really hard, and it hurt really, really bad. It still hurts, and I'm in the mode of learning how to forgive that kind of, like, this is the thing, is like, I feel like I could forgive my soulmates and my karmic for doing me dirty the same exact way that my twin flame did, but for some reason, like, I'm so stuck on, like, I'm working really, really hard these days, the forgiveness part for my twin flame, because it just doesn't make sense how my twin flame could do it. Like, everybody else, I'm like, oh yeah, you're shitty. But like, he's the one person that I was like, that should never occur, right? But it did. So I wanted to clear that fallacy up for you guys, because I think that a lot of, twin flames were out here and we're like, what are the rules? Like, what are the parameters? Like, how do we know if it's our twin flame, right? And little bug got on me. And so then we can get like freaked out when we think that, when we see them doing some really dirty things, right? But just know that that's, twin flames come in to really harsh conditions for the purpose to heal them, because you can't heal what you don't come down and experience. Like, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to come down there and onto earth and I'm going to heal all these things, but I'm never going to experience any of them. Like, I'm just going to heal them. Like, that's not how it works. You have to actually get in, do the dirty to heal it, right? And so, and maybe that's like the part of me that can like turn to my twin flame masculine and like see him in the light and love, see his darkness in the light and the shadows that he's in, right? And just say, like, obviously he had to get dirty, but obviously I'm not going to play in that dirtiness with him. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I see you in your dirt, let me go sit in your dirt with you. No, thank you. I love myself, and I love myself, and I am healthy enough now to not feel like that is that's not helpful for him. It's not helpful for me. It's not healthy for people to be doing that. So there's a really strange animal noise. Okay, I'm gonna end it at that. Okay, hope you have a good day. Bye.